Hello, cherished viewers. Welcome to the program Mining for the Truth. JoSA is my name with my wife,
Mrs. Sarah Atta.
We are from Ghana, West Africa, and we attend Church of Christ. Mining for the Truth refers to the process of digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ. We are New Testament worshippers. It has two reasons as follows. One, to teach the word. John 1 verse 1. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. You can prove. Referencing Genesis 1 verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The plural Hebrew word for God there is Elohim, God the Father, God the Son, Jesus Christ, the Word, God the Holy Spirit. Elohim means God is powerful and God of creation. 2, to teach the truth. John 8:32. And you know the truth, and the truth will make you free. What is the truth? John 17:17. Sanctify them by your truth, your word is truth. What is the truth manifestation? John 14 verse 6. Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except by me, or except through me. The phrase except by me means that there is no any other name under the heavens and the earth upon which you are being saved, except in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Act 4 verse 12. On that note, we welcome Doris Odonko. I love you so much, and I've missed you, and I know you reciprocate. I wish you success wherever you are. Everybody is welcome. We are continuing. The topic is the plain truth about money. We are on chapter 5. Biblical characters who were guilty of the love of money. Today is the last episode, episode 4. We are going to look at Zacchaeus and Governor Felix. So today ends everything on what we have done. So we will start with Zacchaeus. There are many biblical quotations for Zacchaeus, but by the introduction, we are all aware that Jesus Christ rather walked to Zacchaeus. Do you agree? Jesus Christ actually searched for Zacchaeus, and not Zacchaeus searching for Jesus Christ. So,
but he was searching for him.
And I'm saying that, for example, I came to you, and not you came to me. You understand now? So Christ rather went to Zacchaeus, and he took him home. So you could see that salvation was rather nearer to him. Somebody said that opportunity keeps knocking at the door, but we are too deaf to hear. Jesus Christ was with Zacchaeus, yet we are all aware that he was still guilty of money. And the second person will be Governor Felix. I'm trying to paraphrase before we start the whole thing. Now, Paul was in prison in Rome, and this governor, upon all what he received, suggested that Paul should give him money so that he will be released or his sentence will be reduced. Because Paul refused, he left him and then he was in jail. What did they come on? We should continue. Okay, now to the main thing. Now, when Jesus was passing to the city of Jericho, he got to a place where there was a sycamore tree. And upon looking up, saw a certain man called Zacchaeus in the tree. Of course, he was short, actually. So meaning that he was supposed to stand a place where you could see Jesus Christ. That's why he was rather on the tree, or someone would say in the tree. Zacchaeus was a chief tax collector, and his state is almost the same as Judas Iscariot. Judas Iscariot was the one that the money was entrusted to him, so he was the supervisor for the collection of the money. And for this Zacchaeus, he was also a rich man. Of course, if you were a tax collector, automatically you are also rich. People could even donate, give him something from their heart. Zacchaeus, hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today. That's what we read from Luke 19 verse 5. Please, you can read. Luke chapter 19 verse 5.
And when Jesus came to the place, he looked up and saw him and said to him, Zacchaeus, make haste and come down, for today I must stay at your house.
So Christ saw Zacchaeus on the tree. So he called him to come down. That's why I was saying that Jesus Christ rather went to Zacchaeus. Though Zacchaeus was looking for him. Of course, if you are a fisherman, you go to the sea to catch a fish. Irrespective of either the fish was waiting for you or not. You made the move. So I'm using this to clarify my statement. Now, when Christ was in his house, it means that salvation too was in his house. Supposing that I am a mosquito spray and I've entered the home of mosquitoes, means that the household, because I'm going to spray, I'm going to disinfect, and therefore they were going to be in peace. So let's see if this what happened. So he came down first and welcomed Jesus into his house with joy. He was so happy to receive Jesus Christ. In his house, Zacchaeus stood up and said to Jesus, behold, of course, we are reading from Luke 19 verse 8. Don't read it. Behold, Lord, the half of my goods I give to the poor. And if I have defrauded anyone of anything, I restore it fourfold. He confessed. He confessed. So basically, that's what I'm saying, that salvation was very near, so closest. Christ has not even interrogated him. He was confessing. Wholeheartedly. No one has asked him nothing. At times in class, I was sketch, and you know what I teach? Very difficult. So I move table by table to check if my students are sketching you must sketch to appear to be being photocopied. So I move from table to table. I make reference to between 80 to 150 students in a class. I will move table by table to visualize if they are doing the right thing. And to my surprise, before I arrived at some tables, then some will be saying that, sir, I'm now going to sketch. So I will ask the person who is sitting closer, have I asked him any question? But the person will say, no, sir. Because he couldn't sketch properly. So he's trying to find, and he said, no, I have not asked any question. I was just moving around my normal routine to see to it that at least each and every one, those who are not able to draw, I have that time I pick the eraser, the person, the rule, then I show them. Sometimes an angle has been cut wrongly, I will show them. So that. Basically, when you are at a fault and you see that your judge is near, you are forced to confess. We move on. This confession of Zacchaeus briefs us on his story and justifies why others called him a sinner. If he was not a sinner, if he was not loving money, why was he confessing? Christ has not asked me any question. Why was he confessing? Because he knew Zacchaeus was guilty of the love of money. Simple. So he has seen his maker. So he had to confess before Christ would even attempt to ask. According to his confession, he had employed shady means to make money, despite being a chief tax collector, and most likely well paid. Luke 19 verse 1. You read the full story. Luke 19 verse 1 to 10. So this means that he was gaining dishonesty. Proverbs 18 verse 11. Avoid dishonest gain. You must avoid dishonest gain. If he was not at fault, why was he confessing? He used evil means to make money. If you go to Proverbs 23 verse 17a, it is saying that let not your heart envy sinners. Do not let your heart envy sinners. This means that eschew those who have used evil means to make money so faster. Do not. Do you want to read? Proverbs, from King Solomon, the wisest of earth. 23 verse 17 is saying that, do not let your heart envy sinners. It's simple. Of course, we will have an answer.
How would you know that this person gained his wealth through dishonest gain?
That one I can't tell, but we are
not. So we see people, and you pray to be that person one day to get money.
Okay. Psychologists are saying that we shouldn't judge based on appearance. Of course, appearance could be deceptive. So as you see me, I cannot judge that this my friend is using shady means to make money. But when we are to investigate the person, then now we are trying to investigate Zacchaeus. That's why we are now able to come up. So in our era, I think the police can be employed. And you see that when they see that you are that filthy rich at some age, where you don't have any profession. Because now in Ghana, they have arrested people who call themselves as celebrities. Most of them are being investigated. Some have been arrested, released. Some of them, they have seized their properties. We are making very good. We are making reference for JoSA, FBI, who came to Ghana to do this investigation. You understand? So that one, I can't tell. But when there's a need, that's why last 2 weeks or so, I was saying that when in doubt, investigate. Even Thomas investigated Christ. That unless I see with my naked eyes the marks in the palm, I will never believe that he has risen. When in doubt, investigate. Of course, it was true Thomas. That's why I'm fan of quoting. So because some people from USA were in doubt, they came to Ghana to investigate. Who knows, maybe someone could say somewhere to fraud someone somewhere, and the person could lodge a complaint to the security forces, and they also carry on with their investigation. But naturally, I can't use my naked eyes to justify that this person's money is from dishonest gain. But it is because of this, I would say, people's reports, comments. That's why at times we are forced to investigate. But ours, there's evidence, because we are reading the Bible, and there's no history in the world which we can prove except those in the Bible. The person who invented, people who have done invention, we can't trace to prove. But for Bible, of course, some can be proved, but we make reference that all the history that we are learning in this life, if you want those that you can prove with facts, are in the Bible. And we are reading to justify. Not that I thought, I think, I feel. That's why we read to justify. And the person's name is mentioned there, where Zacchaeus has even confessed. So this one, we can now attest that this one is true. Are you okay on that? So that ends the story of Zacchaeus. That when Christ went to him, he climbed, received him to his home, and instantly he began to confess, knowing very well that he was a dishonest gainer. Why? Due to the love of money. 2, we are on Governor Felix. Matthew 24 verse 26, I'm sure. Sorry, Acts 24 verse 26. If I open, you can read.
Meanwhile, he also hoped that money will be given him by Paul, that he might release him. Therefore, he sent for him more often and conversed with him.
Very good. So he was trying to impress Paul. Now this reminds me when you go in to invigilate. The moment you enter the room, the some of the students, they want to socialize with you by force. Say, will you sit down? Some will even try to clean the table or the furniture or the chair for you to sit on.
Not so.
Yeah, they're trying to buy you off.
They are trying to respect them.
No, it means that they are at fault.
By when a teacher goes to class, we clean the table or the chair for the teacher to sit on.
You're making reference to invitation. An invigilator does not sit down. This is the first rule. If it is 2 hours paper, 3 hours paper, you move table to table continuously. When you are a zonal invigilator, you are going around. When you say zonal invigilator, it means that you have teachers to invigilate under you. You are going to coordinate them. When you are moving around and you see that one invigilator has been sitting down for long, the first is to prompt him or her to stand up and then be, because the word invigilating is a verb. It's an action. So you have to move table to table to do the right thing. If the person refuses, you have the right to call the standard invigilator to bring in new person, and the person is sacked. Now, teaching is different from invigilating. In terms of invigilating, there's no friendship. You have never met before. The student have been telling them that no one forced you to come to school. It is not compulsory to attend school. It's not compulsory. Go and make a business, become a billionaire, build houses for professors to hire. We don't care. I am who I am because of book. You can tell me nothing. I have survived in this life because of learning. So you can't tell me that people who are surviving, making money, are rather not academicians, but entrepreneurs. No entrepreneur made the laptop. It was made by engineers. Education. By opening a store, you can invent nothing. So me, you can't convince me. Because I am who I am right now. Because of education. If you also survive through illiterate, I don't care. But you cannot come and sit with me. Because you, the illiterate, is using a phone. Why are you using a phone? You say illiterate have bought a car. You the same illiterate, you contracted an architect to design your land for you to build. You are building using materials being invented by engineers. I thought you were going to use a mud, or clay. This is a Gold Coast era to build a house. No fan, no lights, because you condemn education. So me, when I'm in class, I tell you that the government brought you here. If you're not interested, you walk out. But if you are in my class, if you are in school, you obey simple instructions. So far as you are in my class, writing exams, then you must follow suit my instructions. However, you have the right to leave the paper, go to Dubai, travel to make money. I don't care. Of course, we have people who didn't attend any school, they didn't go to school, and now they are filthy rich. These stories to me are cartoons because I am surviving through education. So you can't convince me that education is not important for someone to become, prosperous in future. It is not true. All what we are teaching, I typed. Education. You are illiterate. How can you express yourself? By typing. I know, unfortunately, they buy laptops. They send their children to school. I thought by being this wiser earlier, their eyes have been opened. I thought they were going to officially move their children into palm one typing, farming, burn of charcoal because education is of no value. They send them to school to read business laws so that they can now man what they have established. And for all you know, they have employed graduates. They have employed graduates to champion their sectors. And they go online to brag that I employed this. I thought you were going to employ your fellow illiterates. We are drawing conclusion to this that it was of no use for the governor to have invited Paul intermittently because he needed something from him. So when you enter the hall for invitation, they try to establish rapport so that you be lenient with them. Me, when I go, I don't even greet. You this small boy, why should I greet you? Even in class, in my normal teaching, when I go to class, I greet them first. And if you stand up to respond, I will punish you because I'm not a king. In the opposite, there are some teachers, before they enter the class,
you have to stand up.
You prepare their seats, you clean the board, make yourself ready for them. So you stand up to greet. I hate that. So we are saying that teaching is different from invigilating. For teaching, it's about a human relationship. We joke, but for invigilating and for every exams, every student in there is a thief. Every student there is a suspect. Everybody is a thief. The moment you are loose, they will steal. So we don't go to the. It is not the place to go there to establish your friendship, to show how godly you are. No. It is a pure business, because when you are caught, you are also a suspect. Why? Because you can easily leak information. You mean foreign material papers to them to court. So you see the standard invigilator also going around. Who are they checking? You, the one who is doing the invigilating or the investigation. So, and if you are caught, you go to Accra to meet a panel. If you are unlucky, they take your sex, and that's your end. So there's no linkage between the governor and Paul. But as I'm saying, as a boy who want to date a girl, they start with fantasies, gifts. By force gift and impressing. They try to impress you so that, with the hope that in future when they propose, okay. Like because of what he bought for me, so you have to agree. And this is the problem that we are facing in Ghanaian marriages. Impulse love, impulse marriage. Anyway, we move on to the Bible.
It's not impulse.
It's impulse because you didn't plan to buy, and you what you buy to impress, and sometimes later becomes of no use. You are going to Chpt, bought small food, plenty fishes, just to impress that the attendant. It's an impulse buy. You bought a malt, later not knowing that you won't even drink. It's an impulse buy. So we also have impulse love, impulse marriage. So people are suffering. Do you have a question on love and dating? So I can answer you.
We are not talking about that.
Paul was arrested by the Jews in Jerusalem. So you can imagine, Jews have arrested Paul in Jerusalem. Yes, and they have to arrest him because he hunted the Christians. So he was paying for his choices that he made. Every Christian pays for his own choices. You sit down there. Of course, when you go to, I think, Ezekiel 18:20, saying that the soul that sense dies. But my friend, the consequences of your choices are awaiting you. So Paul was arrested by the Jews in Jerusalem, and they wanted to put him to death because he has killed. So also he must also be killed. So remember, and the Mosaical dispensation, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But the Roman soldiers came to his rescue and took him from the Jews, because initially he took the authority from them to hunt the Christians. So there was some kind of favor. The Jews still planned to kill Paul by force. This man, if he is not there, you cannot rest or sleep. So they were still hunting Paul. The chief captain of the Romans in Jerusalem sent him away, and the protection of Caesarea for his safety, and committed him into the custody of Roman emperor called Felix. So now we are on Governor Felix. After 5 years, Paul was made to stand trial before Governor Felix in the presence of his complainants, we mean the Jews actually, because they were the leaders of the religion, and they wanted Paul to be put to death. So they will have to send him to the courts. If you go to Ecclesiastes 1:9 and 10, it is saying that there's nothing new under the sun. So courts had existed already. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. When you appear before superiors, it's also a court. Even though they might not have a courtroom, he was sent before the court. So Sanhedrin was a place for judgment, if you want to put it. After hearing, Governor Felix did not find any. So he saw that Paul had committed no crime, that he should be punished by killing him. So therefore, he will have to be put into prison. At times, the prison too is a safety place. Yes, because if you are released, they will kill you. So therefore, let us keep you here. Upon further investigations, sometimes some people are released so secretly, are you aware? But they will keep on reporting that the person is this. They can do some kind of a video and they will continuously do the editing. As if you are there, but the person has been released and sent far away from sight. But you are out there thinking that the person is there, especially this cartel, this rape cases and bank robbery. Sometimes they cover up. Governor Felix ought to have let Paul go since he had done nothing. But he did not. Felix was, so someone will ask, why? Because he was corrupt governor. Why? He wanted Paul to bribe him so that he would free him from prison. So this means that, number one, we presuppose that he was keeping him for his own safety, not knowing that it was for his selfish gain. So here is the case. You are there to invigilate. This is difficult. So if you give me this, I'll consider you. So he was implying that he was doing Paul a favor. And if it was you and I, we would easily agree. Kill plus bribery. And this reminds me of during my trying times. When people, fellow Christians and my church, I say my church, co-workers, that they were advising me to pay bribe. Then the employment was by bribery. I refused to pay. And here I am, enjoying. The Bible testifies that if you go to the same act, 24 verse 26, at the same time, he hoped that money would be given to him by Paul. So he sent him often. He sent for him often and conversed with him. So you see how people, that's what me, as you see me, people say that I am antisocial. Yes. You see, when I came here, when I was suffering, where were you? Where were you, Mr. Redeemer? And then Mr. The person who want to find me. Where were you? In my trying times, you were not there. It is not now that you want to get closer to me. Before I even greet you, I survey you. And when you are also greeting me, I suspect you. Many a time, people use this to have access to you.
So if somebody greets you, it's wrong.
Make a reference to, in the olden days, we were not so. Why for me, or this sudden holier.
Yes, respect. If you greet somebody, it's a form of rule.
And to some I respond, to some I don't respond. And to some I am. It is also not compulsory. You might decide whom you talk to. It is what I say in the Bible. Self-esteem is different from pride. I am saying that when someone starts something new with you, then you should be careful to investigate the background. Why was Felix concurrently sending for Paul? To induce his interest, as if that he was in charge, doing him a favor. So whatever you pronounce in future, Paul was going to accept, based on the fact that he had earlier established a bond. So me, when you start to beat me, I suspect you. And it is true that the next is for them to demand something from you. I mean, many a time, especially the girls. So the girls that have been training in my school, at times, they'll be there for 5 months. Some of them, I will not talk to them. Except in the morning, I'm organizing 2-box meeting. And maybe you're coming for items to be used for your work. But for me to have official, I don't even join their WhatsApp platform. Women are fond of demanding. Women are fond of begging. It is their nature. They have, they will still beg. They have, they will still demand. They have a phone. They will still want that you give them a phone. So me, I am practically unsociable with women. So if a woman staying side by side, or I mean along the road that I used to go to work, and you start to be greeting me, trying to get closer to more of a side. Sometimes I change my route. You see, there are many routes to where I can walk to the roadside. I face socialization because of demanding. Africa and then the dependency ratio is madness. So I'm saying that the governor began with a rapport. Or call him, how on earth will a whole governor be calling a specific prisoner? And not that he was listening to his message from Christ, but normal interrogation. Though he loved to listen to him, he had hardened his heart not to become a Christian. So you can guess of the conversation, wedding conversation, of which Paul was never going to agree. He did that to entice him. Since Paul refused to pay him any money and also to do the Jews a favor, he denied Paul fair judgment. So upon all what he was doing was a hypocritical attitude. Oh, go and call Paul for me. So there was intermittent conversation. He was rather demanding bribe. Bribery is a sin. Avoid dishonest gain. Proverbs 13 verse 11. Ephesians 4 verse 28 is saying that he that steals, let him that stole steals no more, working with his hands something which is good, to give to those who are in need. The Bible strictly forbids bribery, Old Testament, New Testament. You have many Christians who have paid bribe to acquire appointments, and they are in the Lord's church. Now we are applauding them because we didn't know how they made it. And there are some preachers and some church members who foolishly support you that you don't pay and see what will happen, because this is what is happening. Do what the Romans do when you are in Rome. It's foolishness. So you are telling me that if I am working in an environment where all the staff are drinking, I should also drink because I am in Rome. So I should do what the Romans are doing. It is a failure. Reference to Matthew 5, verse 13 and 14. You are a useless sort, useless light. I didn't pay any bribe. Some called me to advise that if I don't pay the bribe, I will walk in this life until I expire. Do I know those who are in high position? Do I know how they got there? That the person was advising me. You can't advise me, actually. My father is older than you. He's wiser than you, even though he's dead. What he taught me, 1998, 1999, is what I'm still holding to live my life. So if you are not my parents and you are advising me, you are wasting your time. I will never accept it. My father is dead. My mother is alive. My mother is older than you in status, and then in Ghana, it is always believed that the older is wiser than the younger. So if my mother is older than you, then definitely she's also wiser than you. So don't qualify to advise me to pay bribe. No, it is a sin. Bribery is a sin. Paul, and it will interest you to know that Paul died. He chose to die than to pay the bribe. This is Christianity. The end matters, not now. The focus is to go to heaven than to hell the earth. So the focus of Paul was to live for Christ and go to heaven. So those of you, sons leaders and preachers and sermonists and church members and secretaries and church leaders and deaconesses and whoever you are, prayer warriors, taking bets. You have lost, you are useless salt, useless light, because you are living as if the Antichrist. We stand on the pulpit to teach against corruption. But inwardly, because they are hypocrites, they do the worst. Now you can easily take lotto bet on phone, and they are taking buying of cars today. I'm surprised. Last time you were teaching about the Eustace and then the drug one, that people initially you go to the church with the idea of going to heaven, but when we are hit hard by hard times, then we shift. It is true. Later, you see that the person is rather comparing the members. I love this woman, the way. Now, let me tell you a story. That there's a man and then a woman. That each time the woman is alighting, the husband goes to open the door, a car for her. So people then, they didn't understand. One day, some woman, women and gossip. Someone was bold enough to approach the husband. No, the wife. And the wife said that, mistakenly, I smashed the door. And the way he slammed me, that's why, henceforth, I've decided that my husband opens and closes the door. They thought it was love and romance, but rather was a precaution. Precaution, you understand? Don't envy what you don't understand. So, we Christians have lost our value. We are valueless Christians on earth. We are now even struggling for material things than the worldly people that we preach against. Paul refused to pay him bribe or money and also do the Jews a favor. He denied Paul fair judgment, and Paul remained in prison under the regime of a new governor called Pontius Festus, who succeeded Felix. Acts 24, verse 1 to 27. So you could imagine. Pay bribe and Paul, you are free. Paul said, I won't pay. From 2017, right, to 2025, before I had an appointment. Because I refused to pay bribe. I am not comparing myself to Paul, but it took me about 7 to 8 years. I was denied of appointments because of bribery and corruption. God is so wonderful. The only person who offered me wise advice is my own teacher, online teacher, Mr. Russell Michelle, USA, Tennessee. He said bribery is sin, and therefore I shouldn't pay. I should remain in my Christianity, and I remained, and I'm still remaining in the faith. If I stop going to church for 2 months, there's no way I will sin, because over there, always I read the Bible. Do you know what I'm saying? Paul refused to pay the bribe, and Governor Felix also refused to release him. So he left, and different governor came. And Paul was still there. Read Acts 24, 1 to 27. And you see all this story is there. This is Christianity. It is not about living your life on earth, but visioning heaven. We are continuing from what they left. Governor Felix was well paid. He was, a whole Roman governor was better off by far as a governor. Why are we talking about Governor Felix? But that did not prevent him from being corrupt. Acts 24, verse 24 to 26. The love of money misled Governor Felix. Fair judgment to Paul. So also it is happening to you and I. She said last week that Most have been denied the opportunities because of bribery. Some have become filthy rich because they are using their position to suppress, to demand money by force. Put weights on your letter before we will call you for interview. So if you refuse to put weights on your letter, you will be denied an appointment. I remember a friend. He said that he had to even start attending church with a person that promised to offer him employment on the regular basis. Of course, I won't mention his name. Last time, we went to Accra for some graduation, the first batch of the girls that had been training. Unfortunately, we were given one room, and he was advising me that I should be doing so. I didn't mind. He said, me, when you offer me some kind of a stupid advice, you are even a small boy. I mean, how can I advise him? Do you think you are better than me? May I read the Bible? And your church is not for my church. What he was doing was sin. You paid a bribe. That did not even end there. He had to be visiting the man intermittently with an envelope. That one didn't help him. He had to stop his church to start attending church with the man before he was given the employment. I will say Father will never ever do that. I hold on to my faith. What?
I have a question.
I hold on to my faith from beginning to the end. Yes, your question at the end.
Why was Paul being chased by the Jewish?
Oh, that one. Initially, I said that choices have consequences. I don't understand it. And if I've not done anything, no one will chase you. Paul himself was persecuting, arresting the Christians. He stood while Stephen was stoned to death. Acts 7, verse 55 to 58 and above. He was there as a commander, so they put their cloth under his feet. 1, to symbolize authority. 2, so that they could be efficient enough to stone him. It didn't end there. Acts 8, I think verse 2 to 4. He continuously persecuted the church, and that's why they were spread. And Christianity spread because those who went preached the gospel of Christ. So Paul committed a sin or a crime that he was to pay for. That's what I'll tell you.
So, if because of that, why did the governor say that he wasn't at fault? You have killed someone, and they want to kill you.
I can presuppose that he wasn't. No, let's one.
Mm-hmm.
The Romans were then the Antichrist. There's no Antichrist to come. When John, the Revelator, was at the Patmos Island, when he was condemned to die, was when he wrote the book of Revelation. He used symbols that, except the Christians, none will understand. So when we are talking of Antichrist, they were the Roman soldiers. No Antichrist is coming from nowhere. An Antichrist can be I. The moment I sit here to preach
against
Christ, you are anti-against. So there's no Antichrist to come from nowhere. So the Romans were the backbone of Paul, killing the Christians. So they saw nothing wrong on that, right? So definitely they will shield him. So the government will never act. But we want to use you as our agent to wipe out our enemies. So why will I imprison you? So definitely they will support you. They were the laws. They were the lawmakers. So definitely they are going to support you. But the Jews knew that he committed a crime. And the Romans were saying no. Because they gave him authority. In fact, they were happy. Using him to wipe out his own. Do you have questions or you don't understand?
I do.
Very
but
good. And I'm saying that the governor, from his government, that gave Paul the opportunity to kill the Christians because the Christians were against them.
So
Christ came to abolish the Roman rule. Rome was not a church, was a government.
So that is why they saw nothing wrong.
Oh, but if you should use someone to kill your enemy, won't you say the person? In fact, if you have seen anything wrong with it, why will you send Paul to go and then?
So why was he demanding bribe from you?
That one is human nature. For bribery, man is not content. people who are demanding bribe are not poor people. And the bribe, sometimes we have wives who take bribe from their husband before they sleep with them. You write a check. Yes. To some funny stories, they carry me on your back. You must impress her. It is a form of bribe. Bribe is always about money. Any medium used, illegally, to offer what you have to help, it's a bribe. So we have men who write check before couples where the husband has wedded the wife. The wife has an official set that she's a wife, legally married. We demand bribe from the husband to give him money to buy her what she wants to eat and drink before sex. So some men are going outside to sleep with a prostitute and young girls, and sometimes they even go there to give birth.
My last question.
And already have an answer.
At this point, was Paul a Christian?
Oh, of course. Why not?
Based on why he refused to pay the price. That is why.
He was a Christian. I'm saying that Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9 and 10 is saying that there's nothing new under the sun. It is not today that bribery began. If it has not existed, we will never continue. There is no life minus a party.
So since he stopped killing the Jews and he became a Christian, and then he refused to pay the bribe. That is why the governor refused to.
The issue of the Jews I wanted to keep up with that. He had also killed.
Yeah.
So therefore he must also be killed. You understand? From the Bible, Paul wasn't a thief. Paul didn't steal anything from the Jewish leaders. You understand? But because he turned against them. And now, so you today you are here, tomorrow you are there. Initially you were with us, you went against us, killed our own, and now you are back. So there's no way they will accept you. Even Moses at Egypt, when he thought he was killing the Egyptian to liberate his fellow person, they turned against him. So that's why he had to run away. So he felt shy to go back when there was a burning bush. Because he killed, that's why he had to leave. And now you are saying I should go. So you see that even Moses himself, he was afraid to go. You understand? So definitely, Paul was paying for his sins. And the issue of the governor protecting him, I have explained that. He killed for them.
I understand.
And number two, the issue of bribery is not about poor or rich. Those who are rich, because they have the love of money, they want to acquire more. Wealth is said that it is the same as swimming in seawater. The more you drink the water, the tastier you become. Making money has no end, has no limit. Until you die, you never stop making money. Otherwise, the rich people will stop making money and opening. They are now opening more businesses. There's no limit to wealth. Any question on that?
No.
On that note, today is the official ending of our teachings. We intend to start another teachings, which may even expand to next year. But we may bring you some singles, maybe teachings and sermons that are single ones before we start another, I would say, episodes or series teaching. So on that note, we love you so much. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.